For new players learning these dungeons, you might consider the Devos encounter a very easy one. On lower keys, the AoE damage the fight does is very manageable, and the only real danger can come from dodging her charge. But even though the fight can be easy to survive, it's a very long encounter. And arguably the best way to increase your kill rate is going to be to increase your DPS uptime on this boss. Now, if you have a lot of ranged DPS, this won't really be an issue because no matter where the boss is positioned, they'll still be able to attack no problem. But if you have a couple of melee, you're really going to run into a lot of problems when the boss starts charging all around the room and the DPS are constantly chasing her. This can get exacerbated in difficulty when the boss is all the way away from where you need to stack and the melee DPS are a little sluggish to get back. So I'm going to show you a nice little trick here where you can actually tank the boss, but tank positioning alone won't get it done. So let's take a look at what the ebbs and flows of this fight might look like and how to maximize the space we have. So you'll see immediately the boss go charging out of there. And what you might not notice out of the gate is this is during Bloodlust. So this is after we've done that first transition phase. Boss comes down. That's typically when people use Bloodlust or Heroism. Probably about 20 seconds into the phase, she's going to do her first charge. Obviously, everybody should be dodging this. But more importantly, everybody should be baiting this so it doesn't go flying off into the middle of the room like that. Especially with melee, huge DPS loss. And this is why this fight is so long, because it's just really hard to effectively do damage to the boss. So let's watch it one more time. So a keen eye will notice that I am standing right at the peak, right underneath the Paragon. There's this little peak there. It's got a little bit of a bigger hitbox than you might think. And what we want to do is have her charge into that. She will always charge at a player, and that's why the mechanic can potentially be dangerous, because if somebody is caught unaware that she's charging at her, they'll just get hit and potentially die, especially on tyrannical weeks. But we can actually use this to our great benefit. Let me show you what it looks like when she charges exactly where you want her to. Did you even see it? You might have missed it. Let's watch it one more time. She literally doesn't even move, and this is so insanely crucial to keeping high uptime on this boss, because not only does she charge really far away and make melee go running all around trying to get to her and potentially even causing deaths for themselves, but it's going to be moving out of key AoE spells, and there's a lot of those in the game now, especially in Shadowlands. A lot of the Covenant abilities are things that go on the ground, so anytime she moves out of that, huge DPS loss. Now, it sounds like a slam dunk, right? Have everybody have their characters in between the boss and this edge. Unfortunately, there's two main reasons why this is just not really feasible for the entire fight. One is that other mechanic that needs to be dispelled. You'll see the black puddles on the ground during the fight. Those get dropped wherever the player is when they're dispelled, and they do a lot of damage. So the healer's incentive there is to dispel one immediately, so they can potentially even dispel the second one afterwards. But either way, they're going to drop a little zone on the ground that if you stand in that, you will get a dot on your character, and then the healer might accidentally dispel that too, making it unable to dispel the real mechanic. So that can easily wall you off, but never fear. As long as you're with respect to this peak, even if you're to the right or left of it, she will still charge and go almost nowhere, if not actually nowhere, like we have in this clip. So whenever this mechanic is actually happening, simply just move the boss to the side, left or right, and just kind of keep everything in that area. This is, again, easier said than done, but it's most crucial right after the explosion. As the fight goes on, the mechanics will start to overlap in a way where every time she does the explosion, she's then immediately going to charge. This is usually like the second time after she does the explosion. So after that, start really paying attention. And it's easy enough to just do this as one player. Even if you're just the tank or even a standard DPS, just put your character in a position where you could make this happen. I mean, it's a 1 in 5 chance. And if you get lucky, even if it's just 1 or 2 people doing it, it could still massively improve your DPS. So even though the positioning is key, there is one other reason why people really seem to hesitate to do this. And that is because of the angel wings kind of flapping right above your character. It can be really difficult to even see the ground underneath the Paragon there. And I've had a lot of people talk about that. They said, please don't tank her there. We can't see the boss. We can't see where the mechanics are going. We can't see when we're standing and stuff. That's a bit of a Bush League excuse if you ask me, but it's not completely invalid. And I actually have a nice little extra tip to show you guys here on how to solve that too. Let's take a look. Do you play with any special zoom settings? I've had problems throwing the spear on this fight because the angel wings block my view. Nope. But if you have trouble, you can always use the corgi thing from the anniversary a few years ago, and it will get rid of the angel. Turn her into a dog. See, it turns it into a dog. So there's no more angel wings Turns everybody in the party into a dog too, but I know a lot of you guys like dogs, so it shouldn't really be that big of an issue for you. Anyway, I hope these tips helped. I'm going to be making these short few-minute videos explaining kind of advanced strategies for new players, players who might have done the dungeons a few times, but now they're looking to take their game to the next level. So please let me know if you have any requests. I have a pretty long list. Not sure we'll get through all of them, but I hope that by the end, we'll have a nice exhaustive library of small things that you can do that you might not be immediately aware of, things that might not be super obvious. Once you start getting in the hang of doing, they'll dramatically improve your success rate on some of these bosses. So make sure you check out the playlist down below, and we will see you guys in the next one.